Trixie's Getting Back on Her Hooves by Shadow Raikou. Chapter 6, Through New Eyes.
Gems, precious gems!
Exclaimed the leader of the Diamond Dogs, Rover, scooping up a pawful from the hole he and his fellow dogs had just dug out, the others joining him and enjoying their find.
Well, well, what have we here?
Asked a female voice behind them. The trio looked up to see Checker standing above them, looking down at them with a cold, calculating stare. Luna's moon behind her.
A pony?
Exclaimed Spot, the smallest of the three.
Get her!
Ordered Rover, Spot, and the other one, Fido, jumping up and running Checker.
Oh, now, there's no need for that.
Checker said with a detached expression, not seeming moved at all. Her horn lit up as a rock moved several inches to the right, in an instant tripping Fido and causing him to fall on Spot, knocking them both to the ground. As they tried to get up, she pulled a gem out of her pocket. Her horn lit up its dark violet as she enchanted the gem, keeping her eyes on the two dogs as she did.
Fetch.
She said simply as she threw it right in front of the two Diamond Dogs. As they looked at it, their eyes seemed to roll over and be replaced by hearts. Oh, great one. The neatest spell.
It's mine!
Exclaimed Spot, jumping on it instantly.
No, I want some!
Yelled Fido, jumping on Spot, and the two getting into a rather large fight.
What are you doing, man?
Asked Rover, watching his two cohorts start fighting among themselves.
Get the pony!
Checker gave an uninterested sigh, walking up to him.
Want it, need it spell. It's a personal favorite of mine.
She exclaimed in a cold tone that even made Rover seem a little uneasy. Rover tried to grab her, only for her to duck under his arm and sneak behind him, bringing her hooves down on his back, forcing him to the ground.
Sorry for the inconvenience, but I couldn't have them attacking me. Not until I've explained my offer. You seem quite fond of gems, correct?
Rover looked up at her uncomfortably, but looking intrigued by the mention of gems.
Yes, we're Diamond Dogs. We want gems. We want all the gems.
Well, I'm a very wealthy pony.
Said Checker, giving a false smile.
Ugh, I hate to pick my minions with bad breath. Oh well, good help is so hard to find these days. If you work for me, I can get you lots of gems, and I mean a lot.
She stated, looking him in the eye, keeping her smirk, but her detached eyes never changing. Rover gave a small smirk at their proposition.
I'm listening.
Trixie climbed into her borrowed bed, feeling like a dead weight. She was completely worn out, sore, and generally felt like she had been through hay.
With whom?
But it was a good tired. For the first time in months, she actually felt happy. Maybe it was what she'd accomplished. Maybe was all the praise, or maybe, just maybe, it was finally shedding the belief she'd carried for years that had done nothing but hold her down. Still, she felt like she was missing something. Then it hit her like a ton of bricks.
Spike?
Asked Trixie, peeking out to look at the little dragon. Spike looked up at the mare.
Yeah, Trixie? can you send only one letter? Can you only send letters to Celestia, or to anyone? Anyone, as long as you tell me the address, I can send it.
Exclaimed Spike in a somewhat proud tone. Trixie gave it some thought, then telekinetically floated a quill, some ink, and a scroll up to herself.
All right. Trixie has some very important letters she needs sent. I could write it if you want me to.
Said Spike. It was his job after all.
No, that's quite all right. It's a very private letter.
Trixie quickly explained, beginning to write.
Dear Helena Midsummer. Hello, Grandmother. It's been a long time. Too long. I know I haven't seen you since I was a little filly. I hope you're well. I know how I've acted, how I haven't visited you in a long time, how I haven't even wrote you for years. I was wrong to abandon you like I have, especially after all you've done for me. It was selfish, and I won't blame you if you never forgive me. I was told that caring for others made you weak, and I believed it. At present, there are very few mistakes I regret more than that one. I love you, Grandmother. I miss you. And I'm sorry. Your granddaughter, Trixie.
Tears dropped on the scroll, staining the page. Trixie turned her head back to Twilight and Spike, so she could let herself cry without being seen. Choking back a sob, she added something else.
Yes. I'm presently staying in Ponyville with a friend. I'll include the address if you wish to contact me. I don't blame you if you don't. I just had to get this off my chest.
Trixie let her tears flow for a few moments until she finally composed herself, rolling up the scroll, wiping the tears from her face with her foreleg.
Here you go, Spike.
Trixie said, turning and floating it down to the little dragon, who put a different ribbon on it than normal since the recipient wasn't the princess.
Okay, where to? Huffington.
I sent Trixie before giving the exact address.
666 Mockingbird Lane. Got it?
Spike nodded, poking his head out of the window, breathing fire into a letter, sending it off.
All right, it's on its way.
Trixie nodded.
Trixie is grateful.
Before a wide yawn interrupted her.
And tired.
Yeah, it's contagious, said Twilight, snuggling into her makeshift bed.
Can't say I blame you after the day you've had.
Trixie gave a nod of agreement.
Trixie could not agree more. This is probably the most physically and mentally draining day of her entire life.
She said, getting under the covers.
Good night, Twilight, Sparkle, Spike.
Good night, Trixie.
Good night, Trixie.
Both of them replied.
You're sure the poison joke won't affect you, right?
Asked Twilight, not exactly convinced.
Trixie is immune to plants like poison ivy. Has been since she was a filly, so she should be fine.
Said Trixie, confident as always.
Alright. Also, tomorrow you're actually going to be working with Applejack. They found a job that they need done, and you can do it.
Said Twilight, still uncertain, but hopeful. Trixie blinked.
What's the job?
Trixie had not forgotten that the Apple family didn't exactly like her outside of Applejack.
Sorting apples for apple cider.
Exclaimed Twilight.
Me and the others are helping too. She decided to give you a job while we're at it.
She explained, apparently Applebloom had a lot to do with that. Trixie had proved diligent at the task that she was assigned. It was asking for help afterwards that was the problem. so it seemed like a good idea.
After finding out how effectively we worked together thanks to those two brothers with a cider machine who tried to take Applejack's farm, we decided it would work out better to work as a team.
2 brothers?
Asked Trixie, blinking confusion, but also a little suspicion.
Yeah, they called themselves the Flim Flam Brothers.
Exclaimed Twilight, looking up to Trixie to see her look rather angry.
You know them?
Yes, Trixie knows them.
Exclaimed Trixie, growling all the while.
They tricked Trixie into investing in the machine you seem to have run into. Then cut town with Trixie's money, leaving a note, rubbing it in her face. Trixie was not their only victim in the town either. Just at the time, the only one Trixie cared about.
That sounds like them.
Twilight said, remembering the experience with a pair of constellations. Constelling, sorry.
You didn't report it?
Of course Trixie did, but Trixie kinda didn't read the fine print in the contract she signed when she invested. Some legal mumbo-jumbo let them off the hook. Anyways, please tell Trixie you kicked their flanks rather thoroughly.
Trixie replied with a growl.
Well, actually, we lost. Then the town chased them out, and Applejack warned her entire family, who own apple orchards all over Equestria, about them. They're not getting off easy.
They're fortunate Trixie wasn't here.
Trixie snarled.
Trixie would probably have given them anything you can do. Trixie can do better treatment in the most humiliating way possible. Then bragged about it?
Still. Oh, my phone's ringing. Sorry.
Like
so I am. Sorry, I have to send them a text saying.
Well, we have
Sorry.
5 more minutes, so we can finish this section and then say it's done now.
Okay. Come on. Okay, message sent. Okay. Anyway, so, sorry, where was I?
Asked.
Okay, Spike asked.
Yes, there would have also been much bragging. I would like to see that.
Said Spike with a chuckle, getting Trixie to give a smirk.
I doubt Applejack or Rainbow Dash would have argued. Anyway, we should get some sleep.
Sorry. Replied Twilight with a yawn.
Good night.
Good night.
Trixie laying down, letting herself fall asleep as the light shut off, and the only thing stirring was Owlicious keeping ever vigilant. And yeah, good place to stop. Okay, let's just chat now.
4
It's perfect. There's a black line, so it'd be easier to find our spot. Okay, so
much editing.
yeah, sorry.
Are we done?
For
Yep.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a voicemail. I gotta check. So let's see, messages, voicemail.
So
Oh, voicemail.
unprofessional.